Welcome back, Truth Seeker. In the headlines, a shootout in a northern Mexico town with the drug cartel and local police. They're saying 19 killed after initially reporting 14 dead. Remember, 19 is the number that represents chaos in Gematria. And the Masonic agenda is order out of chaos. Masonry controls government, police, media worldwide. And as we'll get to, this shootout comes just days after Donald Trump said he's designating the Mexican drug cartels as terrorist organizations, and he's really going to go after them. And realize if Donald Trump was serious about stopping the Mexican cartel and all the crime and violence that comes with drug trafficking, what he would do is legalize drugs, because until drugs are legalized, there will always be the massive profit incentive to smuggle drugs into countries. That's the way it works. What makes drugs profitable is them being illegal. The day they're legalized, the entire profit motive goes away. Now there's no threat. There's no reason for the prices that come along with illegal drugs. That is the simple solution. And if the government really wanted to take care of drugs, this is what they would do. And for all the people who believe then we'd have a nation of addicts, well, we already have that. And in the time that drugs have been illegal and that there's been drug wars, there's been more drug use, and none of this is by accident, it's all by design. There's been more drugs funneled into the country, of course, by the government itself, and realize these drug cartels really are the pawns of the governments. But anyway, the point is, making drugs illegal, having drug wars, all it's done is driven up drug use, driven up crime, violence, murder, prison rates, and all of this truly is by design. The controllers, they make a lot of money off funneling drugs into the country. Their for-profit prisons make a lot of money for them. This is what they really want. If they chose to instead put money into drug rehabilitation centers for addicts to treat addicts, be a lot more successful. Drugs would be legalized. There'd be no reason for the crime and violence. There'd be no reason for smuggling. None of this. Could just wipe it out in an instant. But again, they don't want that. So here's what I want to show you. This latest shootout, it comes 44 days after the last big headline of a shootout with the cartel and the Mexican police. They said El Chapo's son was involved in that last shooting. And of course, El Chapo was a pawn of the federal government. But notice, from the October 17th shooting to the November 30th shooting, 44 days. 44, the number that's used again and again in reported shootings in the media. If you have not read my book's nearly 800 pages long. There's a chapter in that book that's over 100 pages long, covering the decades of reporting of mass shootings in the news and how often the ritual is centered around the number 44, which represents shooting in Gematria. Shooting and officer are both 44. The word kills 44. Military's 44, number that has a lot to do with death and destruction. Notice they write that initially the authorities reported 14 people were dead. And didn't I just say this the other day when there was the big earthquake? They initially reported 14 dead. And I said, just pay attention to how often the media initially reports 14 dead. It's because the word dead in Gematria equals 14. D's the fourth letter, E's the fifth, A's the first, D's the fourth. Dead 14. Then they upped it to 19. Again, chaos is 19. The Masonic agenda, order out of chaos. This shooting took place on Saturday, November 30th. Shootings in Saturday. Another pattern we've talked about. Chigozie Truth, who helps spread this work. He put out a video saying, look for another shooting in the media this Saturday. And it's pretty predictable because it happens almost every single week now. But the reason why is shooting has gematria of 107 with the alphabetic order. Again, it's 44 with the alphabetic order and rules numerology. Again, you want to know the base ciphers. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, shooting's 109. Saturday, 109, 107 as well. The town that this happened in, which I'm not sure how to pronounce. I don't know what the correct pronunciation is. Kubahala, something like that. The name of the town sums to 34, like shootout. And this was also the number encoded all over the recent Mormon family that was killed near the border. Mormons 34, murders 34. That was another story bringing focus to the border. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, the name of this town sums to 47. Government, authority, the cabal, policeman, cop, they all sum to 47. Again, this comes days after Trump says he's really going to go after the Mexican cartel, designating them a terrorist organization. Trump's 47, President's 47, White House is 47, DC's 47, and none of this is by accident. 47 degrees on the Masonic compass out of the Scottish Rite, out of France. And Washington, D.C. was laid out by the Scottish Rite Freemason L'Enfant from France. France equals 47. The cornerstone laid by the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington for Washington, D.C. was laid on a date with 47 numerology. So, right after Trump makes this announcement, then you get this national story about the police and a cartel involved in a shootout. And it reminds of back when, well, actually, before we get to that point, let's just go back and look at the last shootout in the headlines. The shooting reportedly happened October 17th. They said it happened at 3:30 p.m. local, 3:3. El Chapo's son was involved. El Chapo's name is Joaquin. El Chapo, Joaquin, Mexican, Mexico, federal police, masonry, secrecy, order, all 33. A shootout with the police. And El Chapo's son at 3:30 happened in the lone month, October, that sums to 33. Again, if you've been following me for years, we've talked about a whole lot of headlines with El Chapo in 33. It's also this story from some years back. Top hats and gold cuffs, the curious case of California's fake Masonic police force. A trio has been charged with impersonating police officers, among them an aide to State Attorney General and Democratic rising star Kamala Harris. But, again, there might be fake Masonic police forces, but again, you look at most police stations throughout this world, they are right next to the local Masonic lodge. Right next door, right across the street, right around the corner, a couple blocks away at the most. It's that way throughout the nation, big cities and small towns. They write this blurb on its website, this fake Masonic fraternal police department. On its website, the group says it has existed for more than 3,000 years and has legal jurisdiction in 33 states and Mexico. Mexico is also 33. So, there was that. And just to go back in time, do you remember the shooting at Kate Steinle in San Francisco? Came right after Donald Trump was quoted, essentially accusing Mexican illegal immigrants of being responsible for all of the rape and murder in the United States of America. This was back in the summer of 2015. You got the story of the illegal immigrant who found a federal agent's gun wrapped up in a towel on the pier in San Francisco, and he picked it up and he shot it and he accidentally killed this young woman. You remember this story? Came right after Trump made his remarks about illegal immigrants. And what's weird is the Wikipedia has a whole new name for this man who's responsible for it. Jose Inez Garcia Zarate is what they report. It's funny because when the story broke, the man's name was Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, which just sounded like a absurd fake name. And they said he was 45 years old, like how Trump was running to be the 45th president at the time. Of course, Donald Trump became the president-elect, announced on November 9th, 2016, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall 45, Mike Pence 45. Anyway, this guy's name, Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, what he was originally reported as, the Wikipedia now has this entirely new name. But that man's name, where did I put it at? Thought I had it here. Oh, by the way, Kate Steinle, 68, like Donald John Trump, like San Francisco. If you want to add to that list, The Apprentice, they're all 68. But Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, what his name was first reported as, 113. Scottish 113, 113 from the Talmud, Baba Kamal 113a states it's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who's not, as long as it's within a legal setting. And again and again, just the same old numbers showing up. Burned alive. Case in point. Here's the story of the Mormon family recently, or supposedly murdered down by the U.S.-Mexican border. Burned alive, 113. This happened on November 4th, the day leaving 57 days left in the year. Scottish Rites, 57. Scottish is 113. Again, the same old patterns again and again. And happened on a date with 34. Numerology, Mormon and murder, 34. The focus was on the mother, 34. You can go back and watch my video on that, as long as this latest channel stays up. My channels usually don't last for long. Right now we're on 19/20. So. And by the way, speaking of 113, the two shootings were 1 month and 13 days apart. Just realize, if it's in the news, it's propaganda. The government and the media are one and the same. Mexico and the U.S., both controlled by the same forces, the same banker tyrants, the same propagandists. And this is how it works. So these are perfectly orchestrated rituals. All right, Truth Seeker, we'll leave it there. Till next time.